Hi, I'm Grant Cree, a journalist and documentary producer in Edmonton, Alberta. Today I'm interviewing Bruce Zawalsky, the author of Canadian Wilderness Survival. So, Bruce, in your book, you claim to answer the question, what if you had to survive?
In the Canadian wilderness, it's tough. There is real wilderness, and we have an environment that can be cold, that can be windy, and can have a lot of nasty weather. And my book talks about the real things that you should do in terms of preparing, thinking, and understanding before you step out the door.
So what are the top 3 skills?
Number 1 would be learning to wear the proper clothing. People survive because they're properly dressed in the wilderness. The second one is something we cannot take for granted, and that's the ability to light a fire and taking the equipment in with that. And the third one is just basically carrying the proper, real, critical items so you can survive when stranded.
Who did you write this book for?
Anybody who travels into or through the Canadian wilderness, whether it's for work or for pleasure.
Why should folks want to buy your book when they've got such a huge variety of other similar books to choose from?
The real sense is that most of these books are very generic. This book is specific. It talks about how to survive in Canada, how to survive in the northern forests and mountains. And it does it in a full color variety with 500 pictures and an in-depth knowledge that you're not going to find elsewhere.
Morris Kochanski was a popular Canadian bushcraft and wilderness survival instructor who taught students right across North America, the UK, and even Sweden. And he wrote a book called Northern Bushcraft, which became a bestseller in the 1980s. It's still used as a valuable teaching resource for students and teachers alike. And unfortunately, Mr. Kochanski passed away recently in December 2019. And I understand he was your mentor. Could you talk about that, please?
I think that Dave Delfield, who is a professor at Burman University, I think said it best at Morris's memorial service, that Morris was our dad. He really was that, and he was a mentor to thousands of bushcraft and survival instructors right across North America and Europe. And he had that ability to get the best out of you, to push you to do proper training, to push you not to skimp on skills, and to push you to prove everything you taught scientifically. Because he really did push the science of bushcraft and survival much farther than anyone else.
Who is Bruce Zawalsky?
I am a member of the Canadian Army Reserve. I'm a sergeant major in the Loyal Edmonton Regiment. But beyond that military skills, I am basically a lifetime outdoor traveler, hiker, and canoeist. My background in outdoor education and training at the University of Alberta and Augustana University, along with the fact that for 25 years I have been a full-time survival instructor. And the book is a product of that 25 years, or pretty close to that, in terms of training, taking pictures, evaluating every single skill I taught, and deciding what are the really most important things and what do people really need to know. And I wrote the book so I can give that knowledge to a wider audience.
You mentioned earlier about specific skill sets that you teach in the book. Could you pick one of them?
I think we'll start with clothing, because I consider that the number 1 critical item. If you're properly clothed, you can survive really well, and it's an incredibly underrated factor. And I talk about why we don't wear cotton clothing, why we wear merino wools, polypropylene, fleeces into the wilderness, how we protect ourselves by layering that clothing.
What are one of the other skills that folks can expect from your book?
Well, I think the next one would go right into the next critical item, and that is number 2, which is the means to light fire. And we said earlier, we can't take chances in Canada. So this isn't a desert or somewhere where if you don't light a fire, you'll just be miserable. This is an environment that it's 35 below or 45 below. If you don't have means to light fire, you could be dead in 4 hours.
And the final skill?
I think the final thing that we should think about is, if we don't carry those critical items with us, things like a survival knife, means to light fire, good clothing, we're going to suffer a lot. And if we carry that stuff with you, getting stranded is literally a camping trip with limited gear.
Or anything that you'd like to add to talk about your book?
I'd really like to push the point that in our modern world, we're getting away from living in the wilderness. And we're getting to a point where the wilderness is becoming scary. And what I want to do in this book is trying to get you back into the wilderness, getting used to that environment so it doesn't scare you. So suddenly it's, I need to take this stuff, I need to prepare, I go to the wilderness, I have a great time.
The book is available at booksellers across Canada, as well as outdoor-related shops that carry outdoor products. So, hope you enjoy the book. Thanks for watching.